Tell me about the why HCCI was and what's its original mission and where it plans on going in the future.
Yeah, the original mission, is always interesting because it was established by, and I think we spoke about it, Preston, Reverend Dr. Preston Washington, and some of the clergy in the neighborhood came together to really address the issue of the lack of equality and affordable housing in Harlem in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. And that in itself was impacting the churches. People were moving out, crime, drugs, everything going on. They didn't want to come back into the city, into Harlem to go to the churches. They started losing their congregation members. And so, the pastors came together and formed HCCI, and it was really about trying to create affordable housing. Even back then, and like we were saying before, at that time, the city was trying to sell the housing, the homes away, the brownstones away. And HCCI was in a perfect position, but the city said, don't try to sell because nobody in Harlem is interested in buying. And it wasn't true. People just didn't understand the home buying process. And the banks had started that redlining thing going on. So they wasn't going to
continued.
Yeah.
You said they started redlining or they continued it?
They continued. It had already been going on. It has been something going on for decades at that time.
Right.
So they continued doing it. And so it would have been difficult to purchase. And that's probably why they were saying, don't buy. Nobody's interested in buying, which wasn't true. People, had they been educated and informed on the values and benefits of buying, they would have definitely bought, but they just didn't know. So ignorance is no excuse. They didn't know. The churches, these leaders should have came together, and had they just told their congregations, we're buying everything in this block, everything that's boarded up, in Harlem, not only in this block. That's what with this church, that church, this church. There was one time the churches should have came together on an economic, cause, and could have stabilized the community.
Didn't the MIA do that? Ministerial Interfaith Association, did they do that?
They did not do that.
Oh, wow.
Some did it, individually. Some families understood the concept and did it, but collectively, no. Otherwise, this would be like Chinatown or Williamsburg or, Little Italy or some other ethnic neighborhood, But, like at one point, I remember when 125th Street was going through all this stuff, and they said, oh, Rangel is selling Harlem. He's giving away Harlem. And I was telling people, it was never yours. You never owned it. So it wasn't like he's giving, you can't say, oh, they're taking, we never had ownership, never, to any significant degree. Like guy owns a little building here and somebody owns a building there. You never owned the neighborhood. So you never had control of what happens in your neighborhood. Still don't have control over what happens in the neighborhood, And so HCCI came together to address the challenge of affordable housing, but they missed the perspective and was looking and promoting rental, which is like the worst thing you can do, as opposed to home ownership. As I was saying, you rent something for $1,000 a month for 10 years, you've already spent, 120 grand on an apartment that's not yours. You paid this landlord's mortgage, but you got no equity, no investment, no nothing in that. And so they didn't understand it, So we dealt with that. We were able to secure a pretty fair number of housing units, renovated them, rented them out for affordable housing. Even then, had they said the plan is, listen, stay in this house, it's cheap rent, it's affordable rent, save your money because you're paying below market rent, and in 5 years plan on buying, that would have even worked. But they never even said that. So they didn't know.
But why? I mean, it's common sense then. But is it because the church and business maybe that people didn't want to compulate or how do you say it?
Well, here's the deal right away. You think of Harlem was still an ugly neighborhood, blight, crack houses, vacant lots, all this going on. For most people who could have purchased, it looked like a bad investment.
Right.
So that's it. If I can buy, I ain't buying here. Let me go over to Yonkers, to Queens. Let me go to Westchester. Let me go to Jersey, Long Island. Let me find in a decent neighborhood where the money, the capital, or the investment is going to appreciate in value. In Harlem, you never, at that time, vision, of course, is going to appreciate. It has appreciated, but at that time, it looked like it wasn't going to appreciate, which is the best time to buy when the price is at the rock bottom, low.
But you said that it didn't look like a good investment, but it should have. You're saying that it should have looked like a good investment for the church.
Well, for people with vision, it was an excellent investment. Like I said, people ask me now, where's the best place to buy? Where can I find a steal? This is the question. Where can I buy a steal? And the answer is, where are they stealing? Where are they stealing? The neighborhoods that high crime, the neighborhoods that are, really run down and terrible, horrible, the property values are extremely low. Why? Because nobody wants to live there. So yeah, where are they stealing? Where's all the looting? Where's the vandalizing? That property value has no value. Red Hook, Brownsville, East New York. Look at those neighborhoods now. They ain't scary no more.
Right. Oh my God. So why isn't that happening in like a Detroit then? You think the churches are doing something, or people with vision,
now people are getting onto it. I had some folks that wanted to go to Detroit a few years ago when those mansions, all those nice houses were basically, they were going through Harlem. They were going through that same cycle, and some people were realizing it. And I know a housing counselor in Detroit, and she said the values are just starting to creep back up now. This may have been maybe a conversation we had 3-4 years ago. She said they're still low by market rate, but they're starting to creep back up. Rochester, Buffalo, all the other issues like that, the same thing. Jobs has to follow housing. If there's no jobs, and the factories, the auto dealers, everybody take a beating. Well, I'll have a house, but I ain't got a job.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's part of the challenge as well.
What do you think should be the first thing a person should be thinking?
I lost you at the end.
What do you think the first thing a person should be thinking about in terms of buying? When is a good time to start?
As soon as you get the thought. As soon as you get the thought, you're on the road. The thought is, I think I want a house. Okay, I wasn't thinking about that a minute ago. I'm thinking about it now. When I bought my house, my neighbor, one of my neighbors said, you bought a house? Well, how did you do? I think I want one. He hadn't even had the thought until I bought one. Then he said, oh, I think I want one. What? Now the seed has started to take root, and now it starts to take off.
Now, if you have bad credit, if you have you've been undisciplined finances, and that you've been undisciplined in your
right.
How do you overcome that mental hurdle and say, hey, I want to start this process? Because I think that's where a lot of people are. Right. Have jobs, or they are sometimes they're laid off, and they call back on, or this layoff, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But it causes an imbalance in the things of a person.
Yeah.
And so
what that does is it delays the process. All of that does is delay the process. If I'm mortgage ready is a term. I don't know who coined it. I use it. I don't know who coined it. Means that I'm mortgage ready right now. Right now, I can go into a bank right now and say, I want to get a pre-approval. Why? I got what the bank is looking for. What is the bank looking for? They want to see a minimum 2 years consistent employment. So, okay, I got that. They want to see where's the money, or most of the money for down payment and closing. And depending on what you're buying, will determine what that amount is. 3%, 5%, 10%, 20%. So they want to see where's that money. Normally, they started off, they'll say, we'll do about 4 times your income. So if my income is, let's say 75, 4 times 75, 300,000. I need 10% down, 30,000. I got to have at least that to say I'm mortgage ready. I got my 2 years work history. I got close to 30,000. I need more, but okay, I can continue to work and save. And then I need 24 months clean credit with at least 3 or 4 active accounts. That means right now, if I got 3 active lines of credit, and I could use some non-traditional credit like a cell phone bill, a Con Edison bill, you know, rent receipts, and 1 line of credit, a Visa card, I'm still good to go. Student loan. Let me see, they want to see payment history. Have you paid back people on time? I'm about to lend you 300,000. I want to have some sense of confidence that you're going to pay me back.
Right.
You know, well, here's a cell phone bill that I made the payment on time every month for the last 12 months. I feel better. Here's the Con Ed bill that says the same thing. Here's a Visa card that says I've never been late. Okay, now we good to rock and roll. So if I have bad credit or no credit, I'm not mortgage ready. So the question then becomes, how long is it going to take you? 24 months. When was the last time you were late? Yesterday. Well, we need 24 months.
24 months of not being late.
Minimum 24 months. Sony May they have a program called Give Us Credit. They rolled out a pilot program last November. And the pilot program was to level the playing field, because I can be mortgage ready, but I can be black. And because I'm black, I could be denied a mortgage, even though my counterpart white person has the same income, same credit, blah, 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 different skin color, and get approved. So Sony May started to recognize the discrepancies and the unevenness in the mortgage field and said, we want to try to balance the field. They came up with a program.
Sally Mae?
Huh?
Sally Mae?
State of New York.
Oh.
SONY mortgage agency. Sony May. To balance the playing field, they said we only need 1 year clean credit, you know, and we can, even in that 1 year, we can deal with maybe 1 30-day, 1 60-day late, you know. They don't want to see a 90-day late, but a 30, 60-day late, you paid it, you were late. Okay, anything happens, we understand. Okay, we're good to rock and roll. So they made their requirements a little less stringent to try to make home ownership a little more even across the board. But generally, 2 years consistent employment, and COVID kind of adds, so people be a little more sensitive. I was unemployed for a gap there. I went back to the same job, furloughed, all of that. You know, I got most of the money for the down payment. I might be eligible for some grants that's going to kick in. I'm going to get some money from a family member, a friend, gifts, contribution, something like that. I'm still close enough to start the process. So $300,000, we use that number. Let's say I'm putting 5% down. I need at least to be showing 5%. Does not have to be cash. It could be, I got to take some money out of my 401k. I got this account. I got an investment, something where I got access to that money. And you still need to have at least 3 to 4 months reserves after you close, because you just can't close and exhaust all your money. I'm closed now, I ain't got nothing. I used every penny just to close. No, bank ain't gonna go for that. They want to make sure you got some money in reserves after you close. And they're gonna check your credit normally the day that you're closing. And if they see that you purchased new furniture or new car or whatever before you close, they can cancel the commitment and pull back. Yeah, because you just changed your debt to income ratio. You should have waited until the day after you close, but you did it the day before you close. And they're like, we better check Paul and make sure he's still good to go. Right. They say he's not good to go. Paul, we changed our mind. You messed up. We're not lending you the money. Yeah.
Now, how much should you be making before you even consider buying a house?
How much are you making?
I mean, can a person that's making $30,000 think about buying a house or what?
Well, the term house is generic. Now it's generic. A house could be a co-op. It could be a HDFC co-op, which is they call a housing development fund, which is a limited equity type of co-op. We're going to do a workshop next week with UHAB, which stands for Urban Homestead Assistance Board. They, I should say, their primary responsibility is selling affordable co-op units. Their mission is to make home ownership, even if it's a co-op, which is a home, available for everybody. So I've had people making $30,000, $40,000 purchase a co-op through UHAB. As a matter of fact, yeah, really, my first UHAB, because I'm trying to find where's that little $30,000, $40,000 buyer. You know, if I'm only going to get approved 4 times my income, 160, what's she going to buy? And somebody told me, actually it was my supervisor at the time, said, check out UHAB. I had never heard of UHAB. I went to the site and I had a board with all these websites, you know, hpd.gov, HCCI, Abyssinia, West Harlem Group Assistance, Habitat for Humanity, all these places. And I added UHAB to the list. I said, check out this site. I understand they have affordable co-ops. That's all I said. One lady actually paid attention and went to the site and put in an application and came back about, maybe let's say a month later, 2 months later, she had purchased in Central Harlem. Now this is 2006-07. She purchased in Central Harlem a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom co-op apartment, all new fixtures, hardwood floors, new appliances and everything for $70,000.
What?
Yeah. Central Harlem. Across the street was condos going for $500,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
That program is still going on.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, we're doing a UHAB workshop. Once this woman purchased $70,000, she put 20% down, 14 grand. She got another 10 grand from the state. The state had a grant program at that time. She got another 10 grand from the city. So she had about 34,000 she put down with money and grant. And so her 30-year mortgage was only about 28,000.
Oh my God. Oh.
30 years, 28,000. And the interest rate at that time was about 6%. But she still was only paying about $350 a month.
I can't see if you sell that place though.
Well, the issue with, you can resell it, but the issue is that you're going to sell it. That's why they call it limited equity. You're not ever able to sell it at full market rate, like the one across the street for $1 million, probably by now, $750,000. Because again, the mission of UHAB is to keep it available and affordable for the next buyer.
Right.
Yeah. So you get your money back. You might get a 5% over, you know, like she bought it for 70, she might sell it for 80, you know, maybe even 100, you know, but she's not going to sell it at market rate, you know. Right. In that scenario, there's others programs that after 20 years, 25 years, you can sell it for market rate, you know.
And are you having any programs on that, or are you having?
Well, you know, most of the time with that, those are like with buildings that HCCI has. We're got some buildings now. I was speaking with Malcolm yesterday. We have some buildings coming up where they're about to go into contract. After that, we'll start the renovation, normally about 8 to 9 months. We just sold some co-op units on East 129th Street, 4 bedrooms and 3 bedrooms for $104,000.
What?
Yeah. But see, a 4-bedroom, 3-bed, those units are based what you have too. They match the family size with the unit. So I can't be single and ask for a 4-bedroom.
Right.
You know, now I had one buyer, he bought, him and his wife, I think they have 4 kids, so they got a 4-bedroom. Their place is actually bigger than my house. Their apartment is bigger than my. And since the children were small, they just put 2 of them in each room next to them.
Right.
You know, because I mean, they had them at this side, and then they made the other bedrooms offices, one for her, one for him. Their dining room area and living room looks like a ballroom. I was like, how big is this place? You know, beautiful. I think they paid $120, you know? Yeah. Now, normally with space that size, the maintenance might be high. The lady that had the 4-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom, her maintenance was probably about $1,200, and that can go up. But even $1,200 and $350, she still came out far ahead, you know, and saving money. And the same thing with this other family. Their maintenance might be $1,200 or so like that. But yeah, so there are, we're doing a UHAB workshop next Tuesday. I put the flyer out yesterday. We had 150 people sign up between yesterday and today.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, stop. We only, our Zoom only holds 100. Well, now I'm thinking, do I have to expand my Zoom to 300 or something to accommodate everybody, or just say, I'm sorry, folks, first come, first serve, or see what we can do. I'm going to try to work it out, because I hate for people not to be able to come in and hear about the information. We did so much after that first buyer with UHAB. So many people from my workshops were flocking the UHAB website that before they realized that all their buyers were coming from HCCI. And so they said, we still had not met personally. They said, who's HCCI? What are they doing? And so we finally connected, and they started coming to my site to do workshops. They're like, all of our buyers are coming from you. We'll come here and do the workshop.
Oh, that's true.
So we've been working together now, man, for about, maybe 12 years or so.
Wow. Now, is that a part of your boot camp type of situation, the AA boot camp protocol? You use that with them?
No, that's a whole different program. The boot camp was coming out of financial capacity. Mm-hmm. This is it used to be called financial literacy. We changed it to financial capacity building, because you're building your capacity to buy, to save, and so forth like that. And that's boot camp. I had and it's like, I had a lady, I guess it was last week, and she called me. She was in the boot camp for a long time. And I said, you're going to be my new poster child. She's been in my lending circles program. So she called me to say she's now saved, and she was a horrible saver. Couldn't save at all. Had a good income, but couldn't save, single, so a lot of disposable income. She's now said, I've saved over $40,000.
Wow.
And her credit score is 804.
Nice.
I said, yeah. And so, she because like I said, it's a hardcore. You're in there because you want to be in there, and we're going to push you to make sure you live up to what you said you're going to do.
See, the problem I see with that is that you're sitting on a gold mine here, and you have all this information. Most of Black America needs that type of thing. We need to go through this.
Yeah, exactly.
How do we get that out there? How do we?
Well, hopefully shows like programs like what you have, will do it. I'm actually, with my lending circle program, amazed. I was having a meeting with the program manager 2 days ago, and she said, you've already exceeded your goal for the year. And she said, are you setting new goals? And I told her, I said, my goal is just to do as many circles as I can do each month. That's my goal. I don't set like, I'm going to do 15 for the year. I'm going to do as many as I can. And I think we actually have the capacity to do a minimum of 3 circles a month. A minimum, Paul. The minimum number in a group is 6. The maximum is 12. So if I get 18 to 24 people, I could get a $100, a $200, and a $50 group each month. And the scores go up, and they save money. So that helps you become mortgage ready. I think I mentioned I have one lady. I have 4 home buyers out of the group now, out of the lending circle group. 4. The last home buyer, she had to pay off her loan. They call it a loan. It's a savings program, but it shows up on your credit report as an installment loan. So she had to pay off her loan because the loan officer said, your debt is too high with this lending circle loan. And she's trying to explain, it's just a savings program. It's not a loan. But he sees it, he doesn't understand the program, and it says installment loan. So she was in a $200 group with 12 people, so it was a $2,400 savings that she was getting, but it was $200 coming out of her account debt that she was paying each month. So by the time she was ready to apply for a mortgage, she owed maybe $1,000 still on her loan. She had to pay off the loan. She closed on the house, bought a house, and then she rejoined the lending circle. So she said, I just like being in the lending circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what is he doing? Just keep saving or to keep
right.
the money for?
The whole thing is you're creating habit.
You're creating what? Habits?
Habit, positive habits. Right. That's like I said, the lady who couldn't save, now she's saving.
Now, explain to our audience what the lending circle is again. You talked about it before. How does the financial boot camp?
Right. Well, the financial boot camp, this is a savings program, the capacity building, and what we do with that. And we meet on Tuesday evening. We used to meet in person, but now with COVID, we're doing virtual meetings. And people, first of all, we have a survey. What's the biggest challenge you have to saving? What are the biggest obstacles? We want them to understand what are their obstacles. And 98% of people will say the biggest obstacle they have to saving is themselves. They're blocking themselves from saving because they don't have the discipline. So they say that right away. I lack self-discipline. I can't save. So okay, now you understand the problem. What are you going to do about it? Well, I'm going to get some support group, and what we make them do is announce their savings goals. Give them a budget, how much you're going to save, and I look and see how much money they got coming in, what living expenses, their lifestyle, and I say, I think you can save this much. Now I'll ask them first, and they'll say, they'll be very non-aggressive. They'll say, oh, I think I can save $300. I say, no, based on the money you have, you can save $600. And then you think, I say, yeah, cut this, do that. And so they come, so now they set a savings goal of a certain amount, 500, 600, 800, 1,000, all kinds of numbers, all kinds, depending on, their whole experience, life skill. And then when we meet the next time, they have to come back and say what they saved, so we hold them accountable. And then they start to establish accountability partners just to meet when we're not meeting, just in case I feel an urge to go shop, or I feel an urge to do this, And we also look and see the psychology of shopping and spending. We talk about that, so they understand that's manipulation, that's a ploy that's being done by Madison Avenue to put certain images in your head and give you certain messages to have you go shopping, have it your way. You deserve a break today. And as I was saying before, African Americans and Latinos in the community spend more than 18 states in the country.
What?
Yeah, consumers. We're consumers. We're born again. We're born consumers. And so we have to change that habit from being a consumer to saving. Black Friday's a good thing because it's a deal. People, the natural basic instinct is to find a deal.
You're going to go out there and consume, though. You're still buying.
Right. But you're thinking you're getting a deal. Even if you don't need it, you'll buy it because it's a deal.
Right.
And that's so we have to get them to understand not to be manipulated. Don't fall into the hype, and understand they have a bigger goal in buying a house or whatever it is. Directing their money where they want it to go is their money. They have to be in control of their money and direct it where they want to go, where they want it to go. So that's really the whole goal with the financial capacity building in the boot camp, because it has that AA quality that is like you're going to stand up and admit what your problem is and how you're going to resolve it. Like they say, if you fell into the hole, get yourself out the hole.
Right.
Great. We got people that'll support you and cheer you, but you got to dig out the hole, brother. Dust yourself off and keep on going. I fell into a trap. I made a mistake. I didn't know any better. I'm working with a brother now that happened to. He's trying to keep him from losing his house. Yeah, because he made a bad deal and didn't know. Unfortunately, he didn't know me or meet me until after he made the deal. And so now we're trying to, save. I'm like, brother, you cannot lose this property. You cannot, and people are like, we are praying that you lose the property. I'm like, you cannot lose the property, So we're going to do everything we can to help them in that case. So the boot camp thing, they joined the lending circle. The lending circle works like a susu. Basically, every month, individuals will put in a certain amount of money. It's 3 savings amounts, like I said, $50, $100, and $200. The money is automatically withdrawn from your checking account on the 17th of the month, unless that's a weekend or holiday. And the recipient for that month, the money would automatically be deposited into their account on the 25th of the month, unless that's a weekend or a holiday. So it's only once a month the money's coming out, and once a month, whoever receives it will receive that. When all the people in the group receive their disbursement, then that circle is over, and then you can join a new group. Might be with some of the same people, it might be with all different people. 3 savings amounts, 100, well, 50, 100, and 200. Minimum number of people in the group is 6. The maximum number in the group is 12. I'm actually having a Lending Circles formation meeting tonight that I can send you the link if you would like to attend and see what they look like.
Yeah, please send it. Send me the
Yeah.
You have my email address. Oh, definitely. Oh my God.
Yeah, and you just hang out and see, we go through the process and you'll see them actually jockeying for position. Who's going to be first? I want to be first. Well, I need to be first too. Well, so do I. So how do you decide that? Some people say, I want to be last. I want to wait, let all my money come at once, So, some people don't care where they are, And so it becomes a fascinating, just experience to watch. That'll be
boot camp, and then you go to your lending circle, and then you're going through the process. And once you are going through this process, you are essentially given a goal.
Right.
So right. Focused on the goal. You're being disciplined, and you're focused on your goal. So
right. Well, see, in the home buying class, one of the first things we do, and we'll start a new series next Thursday. It's a 4-part seminar series we do on Thursday. We normally start the first Thursday, but since we have 5 Thursdays this month, I use my lending circle for the one tonight, and then the next 4 Thursdays for the home buying. And one of the first homework assignments I give them in the class is to tell me their projected purchase date. I tell them they have a final. This class, you have a final. And they say, a final? Oh. I was like, yeah, you got a final. The final is to buy a house. Mm-hmm. That's the final exam. That's the only way I know you understand the process, because you completed the process. Anything else, when I'm getting my doctor's degree, if I did not complete the work, next to my name right now would be DNC, did not complete. Right. And so I said, you get a DNC if you don't complete. Right. And so the certificate of completion means you completed the class, but I use the certificate of completion, meaning you completed the process. The certificate's only good for 1 year, so why am I giving it to you if you're not going to buy until 2025, if at all? It's already expired. So what, you want to put a worthless certificate on your wall saying you attended a class and fell asleep and didn't do the work? Get out of here. So you have to complete the process. So they have to give me a projected purchase date. And I'm saying, it's your date. I don't care. It can be today, it can be tomorrow, it can be 5 years from now. But you have to have something that you're aiming at, something that you're shooting at. Otherwise, you'll never hit anything.
That's the thing I remember. You said it's like shooting an arrow into the air,
Yeah.
At your target. It's not going to go towards where you want it to go. It's
never. And so now your money's directing, because you have a central focus. I'm going towards this house. And everything I do, all the income is going towards contributing towards completing the goal, achieving the goal of becoming a homeowner.
And you said that you have to have a focus, and you have to have a
target.
Target.
Yeah. And now you can adjust the target. I got folks that adjust the target all the time. I'm like, hey, it's your target. It ain't mine. I'm not going to get angry if you say, I thought I was going to buy in December 2021, but I had to adjust the target because this unexpected circumstance came up, that happened, who knows what. So now I'm looking at June 2022. Okay, well, you still have a target. You have to have a target. Otherwise, like I tell them, wishing and hoping is not going to make it happen. And so once they have a target, and then we look at the other adage, you have to have a plan. And I'm telling you, if you fail the plan, then you plan to fail. So you have to have a plan. What's your plan to get from where you are right now to your home? What's your plan from getting from where you are right now to opening the door to your house? Tell me your plan. I got to save money. How are you going to do that? Because you haven't done it so far. How are you gonna do? I'm gonna cut this, I'm gonna cut cake. And I have people, like, again, that's where that boot camp gets extreme. I mean, extreme. Sisters are like, I'm not getting my hair done no more. I cut my nails, I cut off cable. The kids don't even get toys for Christmas. It's like, wow, sister. Slow down.
That's something else.
They take it to that level. We talk about shopping and how you do not need to stop throwing away your clothes if they don't fit. If they don't fit is one thing, but if they still fit, styles do not go out of style anymore. Fashions do not go out of style. I'm seeing people wearing double-breasted, single-breasted. What is that, Nehru? I'm seeing all kinds of styles now. There is no style. There is no fashion. Bell bottom, straight leg, peg leg, falling off. You name it. Shorts, mid skirts, mini skirts, long skirts. What's the style? So who's to say what? So I tell them, if you can zip it up, if you can button it up, you can still wear it.
Right. Put it on.
Nothing's falling out. You can breathe. You're good to go.
What's going on, people? Surprise!
I've never had a savings account.
Debt is piling up.
I get afraid to check my bank account.
I don't have a job yet.
Let's go to it. 2, 1, let's
Go,
go.
come on. It's a credit card,
Get
right
that
here.
credit card,
Come on.
stinking card. Question number 1, who is better with budgeting?
Welcome to my room.
A lot of shoes with a lot of outfits.
Yes.
Are we budgeting on the right things?
If you put the work into it, then it has no choice but to get better.
We gotta do some work.
Little work.
What's a little word? Like, did the computer blow up? Savings today, rewards tomorrow. This is a financial flow. Once you
Come on, brother. I've been teaching you this for a long time.
you now have your eyesight set on something far ahead. Here's the good news, you both can do it together.
Now I'm ready to make this thing happen.
Yes plus yes equals yes.
And that's the heart of it all.
So what about a car? I know about car payments. You tell them not to,
Well, some people have cars, so that's a personal decision, because like I said, we coach, we don't advise, what do you feel is the best thing? If you need the car, I was arm wrestling with this woman one time. She had a car in storage in Ohio. And I'm like, why are you paying $700 a month while you live in New York for a car in Ohio? Well, when I go home, I have a car. How often do you go home? Maybe once a year for 2 weeks.
Oh my God. So how much money? She just lost $7,000. What?
Yeah.
80 something.
A year, Paul. Yeah. And then when you add it up and look at it, you say, yeah. And I talked to her not long. She said, I finally listened to you and got rid of the car. I was like, thank you. Rent a car when you're down there and you come out cheaper. Use Uber and you come out cheaper. Yeah.
How and because we have 45 minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
How does one plug into your resources whenever they want to? For example, if somebody's in Detroit or somebody's in California, or somebody's in Mississippi, they want to hear about this financial boot camp and they want to be a part of it, but they're not in Harlem. So yeah. How do they, this is a message, I think it's critical for, the nation, Black and brown folk,
Exactly. That, we've been focusing mostly on the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. Mm-hmm. I've had people come to my class from Pennsylvania. I do sometimes when we were doing the in-person classes, I would do a Saturday class, all day Saturday. I had folks that would drive up from Pennsylvania and do it. I remember having people from Staten Island say, stop coming. They said, no, we want to come and take the class. We want to come and be in your presence and take the class. Now via Zoom, you can do that. I don't know how much longer we're going to be using Zoom, but I'm thinking at least the rest of the year, maybe continue on. So it's now accessible to everybody, they just plug in and, HCCI, home buyer education, you fill out the registration form and you start, you start right there. We do have open enrollment, so you can start anywhere in the 4-week cycle. I suggest you start at the beginning because it's like a fast running train and we don't slow down. So it's like, if you jump on, I'll try to give you a few extra minutes, but you caught a running train, brother, so you got to just catch up.
And what's the website and where do you go on the website?
It's www.hcci.org. At the top of the homepage, you click on the tab for Home Buyer Workshop. When you go to the website, you'll see a tab along the top. It'll say Home Buyer Education Program, Services, About Us, Real Estate. And you click on Home Buyer Education, and then it'll say Register. And you complete the registration link, and now you registered, you'll get a email confirmation, and you're in, and you'll see the financial capacity workshop, you'll see the Spanish workshop, you'll see the English workshop there. Eventually, you'll see the small business workshop when we get that back up there as well.
Theoretically, you can live anywhere in the country and go through your program.
Now you can, yeah. Now you can. And I tell people that, they say, well, I'm planning to buy in South Carolina. And I'll say, the rules and basically the home buying process is the same in whatever state you're in. There might be some, slight variations, but it's like, if I have a New York driver's license, I can drive in Texas. I still know the rule. I can drive in California. I can drive in Alaska. Might not do too well across the pond in Europe somewhere because they're on the other side of the street and I don't know what they do. But as long as I'm, around this, continental U.S., I'm pretty good. My driver's license in New York City has prepared me for just about everything from cattle rustlers to whatever I'm going to face on the road. And the same thing is with home ownership. Once I understand the home buying process, I can buy wherever I want to buy. Colorado, Washington, Portland, wherever. Because it's still about having your money, having your credit, having your income, finding something that meets your needs. Basically, and I tried to break it down to where it's comprehensible. People say, I don't know what to buy. Like your question initially, what can somebody only making $30,000 buy? What can you comfortably afford? That's all you can buy. Only buy what you can comfortably afford. You can buy something else. You want to buy something for, 10 times, 12 times, 20 times your income. There's a loan officer somewhere that will lend you the money, but you're going to have to work 3 or 4 jobs to make the mortgage payment. So when are you ever going to be at home? What do? You walk around with a picture of your house on your phone because you never can go home. I go from one job to another job, back to the first job again.
Right.
So, you want to buy something that you can comfortably afford, meaning even in financial duress, you can still make your mortgage payment while you're in financial duress. So comfortably afford, it has to meet your need. If I'm a household of 6, I should not be buying a studio because it's already too small. What am I doing? Sending the kids to my grandmothers or their grandmothers. I'm sending them to summer camp and telling them to stay there until fall. You can't come in, so no, I have to make sure I have adequate space for everybody in the house. Otherwise, we're going to get on everybody's nerves, and I got to make sure if there's kids, where's the shopping? Where's the transportation? Where's the schools? Is there a playground? Do I have a backyard? What do these guys need? What am I going to need? How close is it to my job? Am I going to commute 3 hours to work? What good is that? So it has to meet your need. And then the safety and condition of the community, which is kind of iffy all the time in New York City, and of the building. I have people who bought buildings that the inspector said, this is a death trap, don't buy it. Like you just had that building collapse in Florida. Now, I don't know if they had home inspectors or what when they went in there, but that was horrible. So you want to feel secure in your house. The last thing you want is your house to collapse around you, So
that's right down the street from me.
Right. Wow, man. So you're right in the thick of that. Yeah.
Yeah, right here.
And so you want to know where's the fire hydrant? What's the fire engine, fire department's response time? What's the crime statistics in that neighborhood? You want to know all of that kind of stuff. It's a safe. I work with a lot of women. Most people who buy in my class, about probably 75, 80% are either single moms, single women. Can they get home safely at night, from the train or the bus to their apartment, to their building? You know, but you got to walk 3 blocks. Is it safe? So you want to know all of these kind of things, you know, and when you're shopping. You know, that's the kind of stuff you look at. But first and foremost, can I comfortably afford it? And does it meet my need? You know, and that's where boot camp comes in, because we really work and focus on the budget. The budget is the primary tool in the process. The budget, if you do your budget properly, your monthly household budget, it tells you 3 things: how much you can buy, how much you can save each month, and how soon you'll be ready to buy. So my target date is going to come from my budget, directly from my budget. I got 15,000 saved. I need another 15,000. How many months is it going to take me to save that if I continue to save this amount? What else can I cut out of my budget so I can save more, maybe cut off a couple of those months? How much can I buy, you know, in terms of price? How much can I afford? How soon will I be ready to buy based on the number of and how much am I saving each month? So when I know that, now I'm getting on the trail. I'm into the process. You know, now I can start saying, man, if I do this and if I stay on point, in 18 months I can be there. And if I do this, I can maybe cut off 3 to 4 months. 12 to 16 months, I'm there. And then people start getting excited because now they're getting closer to their goal that didn't even seem achievable or attainable. Now it's within reach. 18 months, we've already gone through 7 months this year, or 6 months this year. We're into the 7th month. So if we were looking at 18 months and started the process in last January, this past January, you know, I tell them, you're on the clock. You are on the clock, you know, so you have to create that sense of urgency. On the clock right now. Even if you're not planning to buy, you're on the clock and you don't even know you're on the clock. The clock is running and you're not even in the game. Not you.
No, it is. Hilarious. Oh my goodness. But that's I see the magic of this program, and my little sister, you know, she's a whiz, you know, like 20 houses, and young since she was in her 30s, like,
right.
And but she grew up, I mean, you know, poor. I mean, we grew up, we left Mississippi and moved to New York and New Jersey. And you know, my mother divorced, and then my mother adopted these 2 young girls and my little sister, and from like a dilapidated situation.
Yeah.
You know, but she had a good head on her shoulder, and she used to always say, people don't they spend their money willy-nilly because they don't have a goal. They don't have somewhere to put that money. You know, where you're putting that money, it goes everywhere. And so that's why she buys all these. She learned that principle early. So I'm like, Lily, what are you doing? Oh my God.
That's right. That's insane. Right. She understands the concept. And I think that we don't value, as hard as we work, it's amazing, for as hard as we work, we do not value our own resources, our own money. And we don't watch our money like you would watch your child. And the money runs right through your fingers, because if you're not careful, it'll just slip out. It'll escape. You know, the Bible talks about, you know, you put your money in a purse with a hole in the bag, and it just comes out the bottom. And you don't even realize, you know, I asked my class this as a question, like philosophical. When do you realize you lost something? When do you realize you lost something? You know, when do you realize that? You know when?
When do you realize that you are a human being?
No, that you've lost something.
That you've lost something?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, when it's gone.
Yeah, but when it's gone, but that's not when you realize it. You don't realize it's gone until you go to look for it and you can't find it. That's when it's gone. It was gone for 4 weeks, but you never looked for it. And now I need it, so I try, where is that? And it ain't where I thought it was, because I let it go. And now I'm trying to retrace my steps. Where did you last see it at? Where was it? Where was your money? Because you go to and your money's gone. And you don't realize it's gone until you put your hand in your pocket and it ain't there. It's like, where was it? I had it when I left. Oh, somebody took it when I was on the, what happened? So you don't realize it, and so you don't realize anything is lost until you go to look for it, and it is no longer there.
And one thing that I do notice too, that when you don't have savings and aptitude, or your financial aptitude is not that high or it's low,
Yeah.
I say that, you become the victim of predators.
Exactly.
People look for this. They know the traits of who is a saver and
Who
who
to prey on. Yeah. And so what I try to teach the class also is to learn the terminology, so even if you don't know, you sound like you know. You're less likely to be taken advantage of. Because I can talk APR, I can talk points, I can talk rates. You know, this guy must know something about banking and investments or mortgage products. You know, FHA, Sony May, VA, conventional loan. So you start rattling off the terminology, and I intentionally use the terminology in the class so they have to hear it. And I'm not explaining it to them. I give them a list of definitions, and it's on you. This is the language in the industry. This is what you have to use, the language you have to use in this industry, you know? And so,
nomenclature, right? Mm-hmm.
Right. And so you have less, you can still get ripped off. I had a guy come to my class one time, and it's about maybe 5 years ago. This man had purchased 3 properties before he came to my class. He successfully purchased 3 properties. So he completed the process 3 times. He said, I didn't realize how many mistakes I made and how much money I lost until I came to your class.
Wow.
Because he was still buying, but people was ripping him off all along.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I need to, are you going to send me that link? Please, Sue.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I think I can get to it now. Maybe.
I have a couple meetings, but I'm going to try to make, I really want to see this thing. What time does it start?
7 o'clock. Oh, I have it right here. Good. So I'm going to make a copy of it. And I'll send it to you. It starts at 7. And, you know, just see what, you know, some of the growth, there's some returning people. There's a lot of new people in there. And be cool.
So you have my email.
I got PJ Harlem, is it? Harlem Times?
P. Jackson at the Harlem Times?
There's some at gmail.com?
There's another one, Harlem Times at Gmail. I have, those are 2.
Okay, this is, I got, this is the Zoom invite I got. That's the one I have on up here. Let me see who is this going to. This one says Harlem Times at Gmail, PJ, then it has a arrow like at harlemtimes.com. So you say not that. So which one you want, P Jackson?
Just send it to harlemtimes at gmail.com.
Okay, that's this one. Okay.
At gmail.com.
Yeah, it's coming right now. So tell me if you got it. Maybe not. Okay. Yep. I just sent it to you.
Guys are getting so bad, Rev.
I know, Paul.
It's terrible.
In the morning, man, I might as well just have Braille. I need a Braille cell phone, because I'll be like, I can't see none of this stuff. The fonts just get little smaller, and I can't see it.
I know, it's terrible. Blind as a bat.
Wow. Well, you'll hear it.
I didn't get it.
I'll send it again. I'm going to send it to, you say P. Jackson?
P. Jackson at the harlemtimes.com.
Okay, P. Jackson at the Harlem Times?
Mm-hmm.
The Harlem Times.com. Yeah, the other one was at Harlemtimes at gmail.com.
Okay.
P. Jackson, the Harlemtimes.com.
Something's up with maybe it's just one.
Yeah, okay, so I sent it that time, but I don't know if I got the link on that one. Let me see. The link was on the first one. I might have to do it again. Oh, man. Okay. Okay, so I'm sending it again.
Okay. And I'll check in a few.
Cool, man.
Call you back or text you if I don't have it.
Yeah. Up until 7, I'll be there.
Well, I don't know. Like I said, I would love for you to write. You know.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that. I've just been busy doing all this other stuff. I need to just write some basic columns, about like the steps in the process. We talked about the attitude that's essential to buy. Don't give up, don't quit, don't get discouraged, kind of thing, and stay positive. Determination, dedication. So yeah, I can send you some articles on that, the steps in the process, because that helps everybody understand it's not as difficult as it seems to be. What makes it difficult is the competition, the fact that so many people are looking for the same property, and there's not that many. Like I said, I don't know what you have now, but we got 175 people fighting for whatever they do have, because affordable properties in New York is like far and few between. It's still a seller's market, meaning the demand for housing far exceeds the supply, and that's what does the challenge. That's what makes it a challenge. Other places you can buy, my sister bought in Pennsylvania, and her house was maybe 45 grand. I'm telling her, and she's like, oh, nice house. I said, that's a down payment in New York.
45 grand?
45 grand, Paul, could be a down payment. Yeah, 10% down on 450.
Where in the world in Pennsylvania is that? Like
in Pennsylvania, and she's in Pittsburgh. Yeah. The house she got 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, front yard, backyard, garage, 45,000.
How many years ago? How many centuries ago was this?
No, she bought maybe 2010, 2012.
What?
Everywhere outside of New York, if you go upstate New York, you get the same deal. Buffalo, 60,000. Rochester, probably 35, 40,000. Now, today, it's just New York City that's like the crazy, some cities like Schenectady, like, we'll pay you to live here. Allentown, Pennsylvania, I was surprised so many people lived in Allentown and worked in New York. They said we can't afford New York, so they'll take the 2-hour bus ride, commute to Allentown and have like a quality house for 70,000. Quality house, mansion.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're so far away from anything. But Zoom, I guess, is alleviating.
Zoom helps for the moment, but when things start getting back to normal, like now we have a lot more people moving to Connecticut or upstate, across the Tappan Zee or something like that, because the roads aren't that heavily traveled now, but once everything starts turning back and that commute gets a little ugly. It gets ugly quick, and that's the attraction to the inner city.
Right.
That's the attraction. I'm 10 minutes away from work, commuting. I got everything right here at my hands. I talk about my tenant, man. This cat was from North Carolina, one of my tenants. And he found the place up in Nanuet. And his lifestyle, now he worked on 54th Street. So he would still drive, park in front of my house, catch a train and go to work. But he found the house for $120,000. The neighbor, where my neighbors are right stuck on top of me on each side, his neighbors were about a quarter of a mile on each side. Wow. That's how much space he had, quarter of a mile. Creek running through the back of his yard, little creek. He had deer, rabbits hanging out in this, wildlife. In the back. I said, the wildlife I have is right there on the corner. But the brother would have to get in his truck. He would have to get in his truck and drive like 20, 30 minutes to get to the corner store.
Right.
I'm walking to the corner and I'm at the corner store. So it's a trade-off. But like I said, he had to park. He would drive in, park at my house, and then catch the train and go to work. Because he still had that to deal with.
Now, a quick question in closing, though.
Okay.
I think it's wise to, because a lot of folks are getting real estate licenses. Because a lot of folks, they just, like you yourself have 2 or 3 homes, I believe you mentioned before.
Yeah.
To buy more homes. So should you get a real estate license or should you just attend?
Well, most of the people, if they're getting real estate license, they're actually looking at embarking on a career of real estate, where they're going to be an agent or a broker, and so they're looking at that. Not that much. It's not necessary for purchasing homes, but if I'm looking at creating maybe additional income, I can do some real estate work, broker on the side. I have a lady now, she was just selected for a lottery. They initially denied her. I'm not sure what they're going to do. She said, I'm having my best year as an agent. She's only been doing it for about 3 years. And she said the big difference was she's getting the same commission, like 4%, 6%. But she said, I stopped selling low end and started selling more higher end units. So, selling $1 million condo and getting 4% as opposed to selling a $200,000 co-op, just the difference right there. And so she said that's what's making the difference. So it can be lucrative if that's what you're looking at. There is just so many agents out there. I mean, that's
millions.
a very dog eat dog field.
Yes.
And I mean, it's a constant fight. But if you're looking at going into a career, I don't think it's going to help you a whole lot in terms of just completing the process. It's not, it might give you a little bit because now with the agent, we talk about what the agents do and how they line up. You got the seller's agent, the buyer's agent, the dual agent. The seller's agent works for the seller. Everything you reveal to me, I'm going to turn around and tell the seller. I'm trying to squeeze as much money as I can because that's more commission for me. The buyer's agent's supposed to be in your corner, but they're going to go out and help you find the place and try to bake down the price with the seller to negotiate a better price for you, but then you're paying them for all of their work, So, yeah. I suggest using the seller's agent. Some agents will say you need to get your buyer's agent, I use the seller's agent, because the seller's agent need me. They need me because your job is to find somebody to buy the house. So you need prospective buyers. So if you got property, Arca, Allstate, these are seller's agents. They got to show that property to somebody, and long as it's still on the market, now that price is going to come down and down. And they're required to tell the seller the offer, whatever the price is. They allow us. Paul's made an offer. He said he'd give you whatever. And so they have to go, and then the seller can say yes, no, maybe, whatever, counter offer, do whatever. But at least you started the conversation with that. They're going to show all the good stuff and everything nice. They're not going to show you, oh, there's mold here. They're going to tell you that. So that's where you have to do your additional research. But you need an agent to show you the stuff, and you got to understand that you can't trust them. You
can't trust them.
They're trying to push up the price. I had my buyers tell me, and my buyers are pretty savvy. They got 10 hours of they got 10 hours and they're dealing with people with 20, 30 years experience. I got them on for 10 hours, but they know that they can call on me for advice. And they said, they said that so-and-so made a counter offer and I need to come in with a higher offer. I said, well, you don't have to. Wait and see what they say, because they're trying to push the price out. And a lot of times they don't have a counter offer or another offer. They're just trying to go back to you and squeeze some more money out of you. So what we also have to tell our people as a result of that, now you have to, again, act in reaction. You have to ask your loan officer for multiple pre-approval letters. So here's the point. If I've been approved for $300,000, okay, based on my income, 75 grand, 300,000, 4 times my income, I'm automatically approved for 275, for 250, for 225. This guy ain't got to do no more work. Just change the letter Give me another letter with that amount. So when I go to see an agent, I know if I show them my letter for 300,000, they're only going to show me property for 300,000, even if they got something comparable that I could use at 250. They're not going to show it to me because they don't want to miss out on that commission. So if I say, hey, I'm looking for something at 250, hey, most agents don't even want to take you out until they see the letter. They want to see the letter, so now they know what you can afford. So I'm going to let them know what I want them to know that I can afford.
Interesting tactic. Catching those jokers.
Yeah. And that happened. I learned that from one of my clients, and she called me all excited. She said, I found property for 420,000. I said, you're overpaying. I said, you're overpaying. And she said, all the guy showed me was stuff for 400, 420. I said, you showed him your letter. She said, yeah. I said, that's why. I said, he has stuff for far less, but he's not going to show it to you. He's not even going to mention it to you. So
that's unethical.
Not really.
Well, it's not really, right? I guess not.
You've been approved for 450, so why am I showing you something for 300? Now, the opposite is also true. You know, I don't want to be showing you stuff for 450 if I know you can't spend 450. That would be unethical. Right. You know, now I'm wasting your time and my time. Right. But if you've been approved for 450 and you told me you can buy for 450, I'm only showing you 450.
On that note, I got to go. But
it's a pleasure, man.
We need to do this again.
Did you get the link yet?
We need to do this again. I love these things. I'm telling you, I mean, we did that interview with Sekou.
Yeah.
You know Sekou?
Yeah.
We got thousands of views.
Wow.
Thousands. Up like 80%. I'm telling you. I'm like, whoa, something's going on with this thing. So we gotta do something. Let me put my thinking cap on. And
please do. Yeah.
And live stream. I need to talk to my people because that you got, like I said, you're on a gold mine. You're sitting on a gold mine, and a lot of people need to hear it. Yeah.
It's undiscovered. You're right. You're absolutely right. All right. So
I didn't get it, but no? It's my internet.
Oh, okay.
But if I don't in the next half an hour, I will text you. And I don't know what's going on with this crazy. Maybe I don't know. I'll figure it out.
Okay. But you have a good one.
What is the link though, just in case? Can you?
What did I send you? Oh man, I've already changed. I just moved it. Paul Johnson. It says Zoom meeting for lending circles, and the link I'll give you the numbers. The meeting ID is 872 0548 8134.
Okay, and what is
that's the meeting ID, and the passcode is 783289. So that'll get you in.
All right. So 872-054-88134.
Right.
And then the pass code is 783289.
Exactly.
All right. I'm gonna try to be there tonight. I need to see that thing, but it's crazy for me today. But I need.
If not, we do it monthly. So if you can't make it, we'll do it again in August and again in September. So I do it monthly. Normally it would be on a Monday, like either the last Monday of the month, maybe the first Monday of the month, depending on how the calendar falls, but we're doing it because it's the first day of the month. So I have to have the promissory notes by next Friday, the 9th.
Gotcha.
So that's why we had to move it up to the day.
Okay, so I'm going to try to get there tonight.
Okay, good enough.
Hey, it's good talking to you.
Always a pleasure, brother.
Yes, it's fun.
Take care.
All right, God bless. Take care.
Amen.